Yeah, we are here coming together in a workshop of the Käte Hamburger Kolleg, a research center on global cooperation, which we are going to create. So we are focusing on mechanisms which help us to cooperate. And we do have two experts here. On the right-hand side, Professor Brosig. She is behavioral economist. So she's coming from social scientists, from quantitative economics on the one hand side. Here we do have Dr. Lehmann. You are an evolutionary psychologist. This is a very different discipline. So the interesting thing in this workshop is that we bring very different disciplines together. I would like to start with you, Dr. Lehmann. The question from my side would be, what makes groups able to cooperate? Which kind of factors do influence cooperation in groups?
Yes, that's a very interesting question and kind of challenging to answer in the short. I'm working on animal groups, so primarily on primates. And primates are kind of well known for cooperation. They do cooperate a lot, at least we humans see it like that. But the groups in comparison to human global cooperation groups are fairly small scale groups. In chimpanzees it goes up to about 130 individuals maximum. In these groups, cooperation, we believe, is primarily based on something like reciprocity, or at least on the fact that you know each other. Mm-hmm. You know who you are dealing with, and you know that you will see and meet this individual again. So group structure in itself, particularly in primate groups, is promoting cooperation by the fact that individuals meet each other repeatedly. They have a memory, they remember who they are, who the others are, they remember who they have cooperated with in the past, and they can form smaller clusters of cooperative partners. So particularly the individual identity and the history you have with every other individual plays a big role in the choices of who's cooperating with whom. Okay. In addition, we have rank systems as well, and this also influences cooperation dramatically. Okay.
Would you say that this kind of cooperation is driven by altruism, or is it driven by joint problem solving, or by self-interests? Are there different motivations?
The word altruism is a very challenging word coming from an evolutionary perspective. Okay. We kind of believe that altruism as such wouldn't have evolved. So both partners need to have a benefit. And I think particularly in human studies, we can often show that it might be a hidden benefit. And the same as in primates. It's not always, you don't pay back with the same favor that you have received, but you might pay back with a different favor. There is an exchange market for various currencies, grooming for access for infant to infants. There is an exchange between coalition partners and food sharing, for example. So the currencies can differ, but usually there is some sort of exchange. I'm not sure it's really altruistic.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So this sounds as it would be compatible with economics thinking, actually. It's about self-interest. You are working on big groups. And what can you tell us about factors which are influencing whether cooperation in these big groups work or doesn't?
Well, working with big groups is a challenge for experimental economists because our laboratories are very small and we need a huge amount of money to pay subjects. So if we implement huge groups, 100 people in the laboratory, then we have to tackle some problems there. And now we run the first experiment with large groups with 100 people, consisting of each group consisting of 100 people. And what we found is that even these large groups work together, they cooperate with each other. And the cooperation in large groups doesn't depend on the number of members. So whether I have a group of 60 subjects or a group of 100 subjects doesn't matter anymore. So we know they cooperate, but it also means they do not pay much attention to the number of people who profit from cooperation. So whether I have 99 other members or whether I have 59 other members doesn't matter for people. So this is what we know. And what we also know that subjects pay attention to the benefit from cooperation. So even if they receive from €1 invested in the group account only 2 cents, then they cooperate less than when they receive 4 cents. And these are very small amounts, but they still pay attention to the benefit. And I think this is very important to know. when we design incentives to cooperate for people.
Okay. Elinor Ostrom, she's an economist too, as we all know. She says that trust, communication, reciprocity, this is what drives cooperation in groups. Would you agree on that, or do you have different findings there?
Well, we also worked on communication, and we found out that communication even works if people do not meet each other again. So they only communicate once. With strange people, they will not meet the other people again, but still this increases cooperation, and we observe full cooperation afterwards, after communication. This is the strongest impact we've ever seen on cooperation, and we are investigating this in more detail.
Okay, so the interaction between persons is very important for cooperation.
Yeah.
This is also interesting for international regime processes and negotiation processes, of course, but we haven't the time to talk about that. Thank you very much for your insights. I hope that we will have interesting discussions between these disciplines within our workshop. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.